Welcome to the best place you can park it on a Wednesday night. Welcome to the Attitude Shift. Donna Butler, parked on Gear Positive.
Aria Butler here, parked on Drive.
Oh, parked on Drive. That's awesome. And our very special guest. You know, we're shifting in real hard tonight because we're actually coming from the New Orleans airport with our guest tonight, Lorinda.
Straight from
New Orleans. And let me get it right. Lorinda Andujar.
That is
Lorinda Andujar. We call her Lala. That's what we call her. We're welcoming her to the show, coming to us from Florida. What part of Florida? Tell everybody.
I'm in the Orlando area. It's actually Castleberry. Hardly anybody has heard of Castleberry, but it's near Altamont, but I'm in the Orlando area.
Well, we are so glad that you took time to come from Orlando area and join us here in Louisiana on the Attitude Shift. Not only on the Attitude Shift, you're going to join us also under the City Lights.
Yes,
because you have a lot to talk about, which is exactly why we're doing this special edition show tonight, because we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of healing and revealing to do tonight. Thanks to Joan, who's behind the camera producing us tonight with Siobhan Shaw. Behind the camera, she's going to look at the questions any of you guys might have. She's going to throw maybe some questions our way, and we're going to love to hear her wit off camera. So without further ado, you want to start by telling us how your week went?
My week went fabulous. So far, it's going great. I've had a good work week. I'm excited, like I said, we've been pumped up and getting ready for putting promos up, getting prepared for Lala to come join us. And I'm so excited because we have a history, one of my first events that I've ever spoke at or ever told my story at. I was privileged enough asked to the day of her event. And I was so nervous, but she gave me a chance, and it was fabulous, and I will never forget that. So I'm just super excited to have her on the show tonight with us.
And that's so cool because that's why we're here, because the event that we were at last year
will be here.
We'll be here in Baton Rouge. But before we get to that event, I want to talk to everyone a little bit about healing.
Right.
Because that's exactly, if you look over, behind Lala, there's her banner, and there's a Band-Aid right over there. And Band-Aids signify a lot. They're used to cover our boo-boos.
Right.
They're used to cover marks, scars, tattoos, whatever. But a Band-Aid, helps the healing process.
Absolutely.
And what happens when we remove that Band-Aid sometimes too quickly?
You can get some scars. You're going to rip some things off prematurely because you didn't allow it to heal. And also, just putting it on a Band-Aid, you heard of Band-Aiding the solution. Sometimes you need some antibiotic ointment. Sometimes you need some type of medication to assist with that process, to speed that process along.
And that's what we're going to talk about. As always, we use the car analogy on the Attitude Shift. And I would look at putting a Band-Aid on something as when you have a flat tire maybe, and you put the little plug in it. It carries you so far.
Right, and they tell you when they put it on there,
temporary.
You can only use it for this long, and you're thinking, well, I'm going to push it as far as I can go until,
We talked a little bit about self-healing, and I want to start with that first. When we put that plug in, and we do that little quick heal, what happens sometimes when we put that heel on, but we really don't address it? We don't change the tire. We don't change it. We just plug it up and keep going till it, falls out and messes up again. How do we heal ourselves like that?
So first of all, let me touch on the first part of that. You said what happens when we do that plug, and we're not really having the maintenance that we need on that plug. The reason that there's not the right healing is because we do that so often. That's why we have people committing suicide, because that quick fix without addressing the underlying issues. That's why we have people letting people abuse their bodies, because they don't love themselves enough, because they haven't dealt with the issues of self-esteem and self-worth. If I don't love myself, it's easy to misconstrue sex for love. So I let people use me. If I have an emptiness inside of me, and that's part of the testimony that I loved about you, I'm going to go look for drugs. I'm going to go look for different things to take that place and to fill the void. So that's what happens when we put a plug on it or something temporary on a lasting solution and we don't do the right thing. So, and then the other part of it is, why are we hurting? because we don't deal with it.
Exactly.
And because it's so taboo, especially in the African American culture, and any minority culture at that point where we say, oh, you're going to a psychiatrist? Oh, you're crazy. There's something wrong with you. We don't do that.
We don't do that.
We don't do that. That's just something we don't do. It's the other people do that. Well, that's wrong. There's nothing wrong with seeking medical attention if you need it. There's nothing wrong with getting placed on medications. We're quick to say, you know what, a behind whooping will fix that. Well, not. So if I'm molested and I'm displaying behaviors, is a behind whooping going to fix that? No, it's not. It's just going to make me have animosity and hard feelings towards those people who are supposed to be loving me, who are supposed to be helping me, who are supposed to be that antibiotic agent that I need to be successfully healed. Right. So there are a lot of things that come along with healing, and it's not a one-time event.
Right.
It's ongoing.
And that's like when we talk, go ahead.
And I wanted to ask you, with the Me Too movement, everything that has gone on, what is your opinion on that? With your story, with people may not know your story, but I know that you have a personal testimony on that. So what is your opinion on the Me Too movement, and do you see it going further than just a one-time thing that's just coming?
Right, just a trend.
Yeah,
just
just
a
a
little
trend.
I don't think it's a trend because there are so many people that are hurting.
Right.
There are so many people that are lost, and there are so many people looking for things and they don't know where to go.
Right.
You mentioned my story, so one of the things that I talk about when I ask people, what do you see when you look at me? And they say, I see strength, I see beauty, I see power, I see all this. And I said, you know what, that's great that you saw that. But if you look at me, I'm a person that was molested by my birth father. I tried to commit suicide multiple times. I was in a mental institution for 3 weeks straight because I tried to kill myself. I thought I was failing. I had 2 failed marriages. And there were a lot of things that were going on that were not being addressed. So this generation has so many things that are being thrown at them that we didn't have to. And then they have to contend with social media. So not only am I not good enough, I got to be compared with this chick on social media
that has
the perfect body, the perfect relationship, when they're just wearing a mask.
Exactly.
I love that. When we were just talking about that. So when we start to heal, before we go healing the city and healing, the masses, we have to look inside ourselves, is what you're saying. How do we do that? Like you said, it's taboo. I was molested by a family member. How do we start a dialogue with our children when we have never been comfortable ourselves, talking about it? How do we start that dialogue? How do we turn that doorknob when, we weren't taught that?
Hey, baby, how you doing? I love you. If you ever want to talk, I know sometimes it seems like I'm your parent and you don't want to talk to me, but let's talk. There's nothing you can't tell me that we can't work through. But when we say that, be prepared for what comes next.
Yeah, exactly.
Like with Ariel, I'm going to use that for analogy. She still is telling me things, through her 7-year addiction. I'm still hearing things. There are things she's still saying, I'm not ready, Mom, to say these things because I don't know how you'll say. I don't want you to look at me a certain way. And I love how you say that to start the dialogue is to say, I love you.
Right.
I love you unconditionally. Nothing you're going to say to me is going to change that.
Right.
And I think that that's how we've been, and it's helped me to be able to open the door for her to talk to me that way. But not everyone can do that. She's older.
Right.
She's older. The younger children who nowadays, they're getting molested in daycares.
Yes.
Exactly.
Nowadays, like you said, it's in the home.
It's in the home.
And that's where it starts. Like we said, with everything, with when you're seeing these daycares or these schools or these places where this abuse and stuff is happening like that, where is it that they're not being able to turn to their parents? There's something going on that we're not having an open enough conversation, that there isn't enough healing going on.
Right.
That they're not comfortable enough to do that. So it's happening for years and years on. But that damage is happening where it's not fixable sometimes. So we have to start somewhere. And I think at home. That's the number one place. That's the number one where the dialogue is going to start and happen.
Absolutely.
So from moving on to that, now let's go into the masses now. Every day you turn on the television, there's someone being shot, unarmed black man in the backyard, Black Lives Matter, officer being killed, Blue Lives Matter. We are bombarded now with these hashtag lives that matter. What do you, in your take, what's going on?
So for that, you know, everything has a purpose and a situation, but let me get to the root of it. We are more alike than we're different. I don't care what we do, who we are, what background we came from, what generation we came from, what our culture is. I don't care what that is. In every culture, you have racism.
Absolutely.
In every culture, you have hatred. In every culture, somebody's being molested. In every culture, someone's being battered and abused. Someone is being talked down to. Someone is being mentally abused. I drive by houses and I look at these houses not as, oh, that's a beautiful house. I'm like, I wonder what's going on behind it.
I do that too now.
Right? Oh, wow. We talked about that once before. What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on?
So when it comes to the, unarmed black men, because people don't value lives anymore. And we got to the point of people not valuing lives anymore is because we don't respect each other. We don't respect ourselves, so why would I respect someone else? When I used to go to the Faith Center, Bishop Henry Fernandez said, if you want to destroy America, destroy the family.
Absolutely.
Dismantle the family.
100%.
And there are no family values. And it said, you know what, well, a single mom can't raise a son. You can teach your son respect and you can teach him how to love. You can have that dialogue. So there are a lot of things that we need to fix in-house before we can fix the unarmed black man being hurt. Because if you teach your children respect.
Very good. Very good.
Speaking of that, we have so much going on in Baton Rouge right now with Alton Sterling and everything that happened. Can you explain what Heal the City exactly is and what will be coming to Baton Rouge exactly?
Okay. And
we're excited.
I'm excited about this. Heal the City, I will tell you a little bit of my story. So I said that I was molested by my birth father, and I forgave him.
Right.
And it was a process over the years. I could sit here with my dad and have a conversation with you. Have a conversation with him like I'm having a conversation with you, and it took me a time. I came around him to make him feel uncomfortable, but the premise of me coming out and letting everybody know the things that I went through, I put on my social media, once I tell my story, you are not allowed to lash out at him, because if I can forgive him, you can forgive him, and it was done to me.
Right.
So Heal the City is dealing with the tough issues that we are afraid to talk about. Because sometimes when someone is molested, first of all, it's a learned process. Whether we want to say it or not, they saw somebody else doing it, or it got done to them, so they're just repeating the process.
Right.
And it's
hurt
easy.
People hurt people.
And heal people heal people.
Absolutely.
So once you go through that process and you see that being done, it's not that they're warped. They think it's the norm.
Right.
That's all they know. And how can you really fault someone for doing what they know? And because we are so judgmental, so holier than thou, we don't talk about it in the churches where we need to talk about, because that is a place where we go for healing. We don't talk about it at the government levels because we shun it, because maybe they were wearing the wrong thing, or they deserve that, or they came from this, so let the savages take care of themselves and everybody will be okay. So what Heal the City is, it's teaching us to love ourselves at where we're at. And for you to love people where they're at. Because sometimes when we get, and even in corporate setting, because what I equate leadership to is personal leadership. Because if you don't know how to love, if you don't know how to respect, if you don't know how to talk to people, if you don't love yourself, you're not going to survive and thrive in a business setting, in a corporate setting. Right. Whether it be McDonald's, Burger King, a Fortune 500 company, if you don't feel good about yourself, you're going to lash out at other people. Right. If you're not educating yourself, you feel trapped, you're going to lash at other people because you don't feel worthy. So why should you feel worthy? Because I'm hurt. Right. So what Heal the City is we get a group of individuals, phenomenal individuals, that go in and serve the community selflessly. They go in and my prerequisite for that is you have to have gone through the struggle that you're talking about. Because if you don't know anything about it, I don't care what degree you have, You're not going to have compassion for that person and try to see things from their point of reference.
Exactly.
If you can't see somebody from their point of reference or where they're at and meet them there, you're not going to be able to connect with them.
Right.
And do you think that that's the problem right there? I think you hit something on the head when you said if we can't
Being relatable.
go to the people, we can't talk to the people, if we have never been homeless, if we've never been hungry, gone to bed hungry, how are we supposed to go into the communities and embrace them and touch them and talk to them if we've never held that? And I think Heal the City, having been working with you last year, I see exactly what you're trying to do. I see exactly where that goal is and where you can slowly take that Band-Aid off with conversation, not just ripping it off, but like you said, going to, lifting it up, making sure that it's clean underneath there, if not applying more healing ointment.
Right.
And I love that idea. So for Baton Rouge, why Baton Rouge?
Exactly.
Why Baton Rouge?
Because I visited Baton Rouge when I came to another conference, and I met so many beautiful people. And as I looked out into the audience, I saw me in the audience. I saw hurt little girls that didn't want to talk, dressed up as women, in these nice suits, these nice clothing, and it was a mask. And there are so many things going on. Baton Rouge is no different than anyone else, any other city. They need love. They need peace. There are some phenomenal individuals in Baton Rouge. There are some talented individuals in Baton Rouge, and some of them have forgotten it. And that's why I want to bring Heal the City to Baton Rouge, because God put it in my heart. I love people more than they can ever imagine. I have a heart for service. And the folks that joined the Baton Rouge Heal the City, as we put it out there for speakers to come in, they have to have a heart for service.
Right. You
can't come in saying, you know what, I'm going to escalate my business. I'm going to get all this business by coming in.
Absolutely.
The heart of serving people is what your business should be about. And if you come in looking for a transaction, that's business. You're not doing things out of your heart.
Out of your heart.
Yes.
I think that's really important. Going back, because I like to go back to the healing, because it brought you to this point. You talked a little bit about forgiving your father, your biological father, for what he did to you. How hard was that? Where did you have to dig? I mean, we just said it and scraped the top of it, and I know some of our viewers are like, wow. But it wasn't that easy. It wasn't just like going up there ripping, like we said, a Band-Aid off. You had to do something. Where did it come from?
It took years, and it took 30 plus years to do that. And at first I went around him to make him feel uncomfortable. And then one day in Bronson, Florida, at the 7-Eleven, I gave him his first Father's Day card. And he started crying. And at that moment, I knew that no sin was greater than the next sin. And that man was hurting inside. And who was I to hold on to forgiveness? So what I thought I was doing was hurting him and making him feel uncomfortable. But little by little, as I went around him, the pain started dissipating. To this day, though, I still have nightmares. And it deserves that I get counseling for the traumatic experiences that I've gone through. But I've learned to love. I've learned to appreciate. I've learned to forgive. I now know what the word forgive means, because we say it all the time.
All the time.
But we truly
all
don't
the
mean
time.
it. Oh yeah, I forgive you, but I'm gonna hold a grudge and do something to
I'm
you.
gonna
Or I'm
remind
gonna talk
you.
about you.
That's right. I'm
gonna
gonna
throw
remind
it
you
in.
of
And
that.
people, and I love the fact that you said I'm gonna remind you of that, because the enemy loves to remind us of our past.
Absolutely.
If you ever want somebody to get out of their past, what do?
You move forward. Like
You
we said,
move forward.
you don't look in that rearview mirror.
Right.
You know, you can glance at it, but we suggest you keep looking ahead.
Right.
So go ahead. No,
Okay.
please.
I'm like I said, I want to go back. I'm so excited about Heal the City coming to Baton Rouge, because like I said, I think that our city needs it so much. We went and just walked the streets and really communicated with the city. And Heal the City, when we went to it in Florida, I had never been. And the feeling and the love and the empowerment that it brought to me, I cannot wait for Baton Rouge to feel that. So what I want you to do is I want you to tell the people that are watching what they can expect from you and the speakers and the people that are going to be there.
And what type of speakers?
Yes.
You talked a
What
little
kind of
bit
speakers?
about what type of speakers,
Exactly.
having the passion. What exactly are you looking for from speakers? Just in case anyone
What
out
you
here
expect,
is
yes.
wanting to come in and talk to you and help while you're here. We're going to have some links up later on the page. You can be able to, talk to Lorinda. But what are some of the things, like she said, we can expect, and what are some of the people you're looking for?
First of all, I'm not looking for actors. I want somebody that can get up there and have a conversation and not be afraid to fight back, and not hold back the tears, not hold back the passion. You may get a snotty face up there, your makeup.
Oh yes, yes, we know.
I want somebody out to say,
no
you know
shoes,
what?
nothing.
I heard. I was dealing with this and I didn't know where to go. I need someone to be real because the people need someone to be real. And that's why sometimes I post the things I do on Facebook because I'm real. Lorinda, you put all your business out there. My people overcome by the telling of their testimonies.
Yes, ma'am.
That's how healing happens.
Yes.
So for you to be a speaker at Heal the City, I want you, first of all, to be real. I want you to have a love for people, a passion and desire for people. I don't want to go to your page and see you bad-mouthing a group of people and then coming and telling me you love somebody. No, we're not going to have that. I want someone that can relate, that connects. Someone that knows greater is he that lives in me than he that lives in the world. I need them to have that light shine on someone. I need someone to come out and not be afraid to be naked in front of people. Because there are so many people wearing faux furs and all this stuff trying to cover themselves when the enemy deals in secrets. But if I tell you everything about me, you can't hold that against me.
Absolutely.
That's freedom in the people being able to tell their testimonies. I want people that will go up and hug someone, and when they touch them, they feel it, and they love it, and they know that they're loved. I want someone that's not afraid to say, I made this mistake, and it was not the end of me, and this is why. I want someone that's going to go out there and share their trade secrets and say, if God did it for me, he can do it for you.
Right.
I want someone with a genuine love for people in the crowds, talking to the people, greeting them when they come into the door, not fixing their makeup, talking to them when they leave. If you give them a business card, it's because, hey, you can call me anytime.
That's right.
And then answering it.
Then
answering it, being there to follow up, speaking from a point of love. I want someone like that in the conferences because people need that.
Right.
You're very busy. You're a busy woman, Honduras,
Yes.
and you have a lot on your plate. How do you find that balance? We always talk about balance, and being able to maintain that ship
Staying grounded.
and staying grounded. How do you find that? You have so much passion, and we can feel it here. And like
very
working with you
spiritual.
before,
Yes.
we know who you are. But how do you find your mother as well? How do you find that balance?
I'm going to tell you something. It's hard. But God, if he brings you to it, he will bring you through it. Right now, I can tell you I don't have a definitive answer for that. But I know it's God. I know that, like they say, work-life balance. I need to have a life balance when it comes to what I do. I had to step back, and thank God, January 25th, I became unemployed.
I was going to ask you about that. That's part of your major shift. Let's talk about that.
Yes, so I worked for the largest retailer in the world it would have been 27 years, July 17th of this year. And January 25th, I was told I no longer had a job. So I decided at that point that I was probably going to sulk a little bit, but then God said, you don't have time to do this. You're doing exactly what I'm telling you to do. That's what I want you to do. And if you trust me, you will get up and go do what I tell you to do. So just finding strength in God, because entrepreneurship, trying to take care of people is hard. Heal the City, I had over 200 people register for Heal the City last year. And an nth of them came to the conference. And it was free. And that hurt me, not because Lorinda was up on stage or because all these people flew in on their own dimes, drove in on their own dimes to sow into the community. The community didn't take advantage of that because we have this thing out there that says if it's free, it's no good.
Or you'll go spend $300 to go to see somebody who would do
that's
nothing
in concert,
for you.
and you'll spend lots of money for that. So I want to go back to that real quick because that's important. We're being real tonight. Like you said, we'll spend money, for the latest purse.
Okay.
The shoes, and like you said, the concerts, and we hear free.
Yeah.
And we think
it's gimmick.
It's a gimmick, or it's churchy,
Mm-hmm.
it's preachy.
Mm-hmm.
We look at that. That attitude, we've got to figure out a way to shift that mindset. We have to figure out a way to reach the communities past those that are, and I hate to say that, past those that are spending all that money on shoes. We need to reach the people, the mothers. We need to reach the fathers, the coaches, the people that are dealing with the very ones that are robbing people for a pair of shoes.
Right.
That will stand in line all day for shoes, but won't come in where it's free. Free food, everything right there all day long. We were there. We need to go about weeding past them. I hate to say it, Joan talks about the millennials a lot and the spoiled generation that the millennials are. And I think that we need to start looking past those spoiled generations and going to the root. Going to the moms, the dads, the grandpas, the aunts.
Like we said, we're never going to have change at all unless that starts. We really want to focus and fix where we're at right now because we're hurt. And we see it every day. We watch the news. We're a city divided right now. And unless we work on something, and this is a step towards something good.
Absolutely.
Towards something amazing. Like I said, I saw it for myself. I attended it for myself. And it's not about how many people, like we said, are out there. It's about when you look out into that audience and you're out there connecting.
You connect with one.
You're out there connecting, whether it be one person, and you're slobbing, crying, and everything, and they just look at you and they shake their head, and they walk up to you and tell you thank you. I needed that today. And you can walk up off the street. It doesn't matter who you are. This event is for you. If you're looking for something in your life, whether it may be a relationship to get out of an addiction, a horrible place in your life, what can you say as we close up to anybody out there that is looking for something, that is down and out on their luck, that has lost their job, that is out? What can you say to them to
help them heal tonight?
Help them heal.
When can you get the healing process started?
God doesn't make mistakes, number one. I'm proof of it. And there is no situation in life that you can't overcome. And truth be told, a lot of the things that I went through in life were self-inflicted. And just knowing that they were self-inflicted, now I know how I can deal with them. Or what I'm up against, these are the signs of what this person is going through. Now I know how to deal with it. Now I know what avenue to deal with it. I think that everyone that needs to fill a void should come to Heal the City. Not because Lorinda's name on it, not because Donna and Ariel is there. It's because there's a need to be met.
Absolutely.
There's a need to be met.
Lorinda is going to be with us for the duration of the week. You're going to be able to see more of her story, more of her live under the city lights. We know you have a lot of questions. We know you want more. And that's why we're going to share the shift. Not only here, you'll find some posts here throughout the week, but you'll get to see a lot more in-depth of her starting tomorrow under the city lights. No holds barred. She's ready to talk about it. Do you want to close out with a rant and rave, or how do you want to close this one out?
I want to rant that I'm excited that we're here picking a venue for Heal the City. Follow us. We're here, you guys, and I'm excited because, like I said, we need it more than ever, and she is bringing this to our city. That is my rave. I'm happy. I love you guys. I'm excited.
And real quick, if you were out looking for venues,
yes,
Lorinda is here to not only do the shift in under the city lights, looking for a venue for hosting Heal the City, and not only that, she's wanting to meet some of you.
Yes, if you're interested, please.
Some of you that may have something to offer, you may want to get on the speaking. Please stay tuned. Like us here, like us on our personal pages, and we're going to be back tomorrow. You'll see more of us. Thank you so much, Joan, for going behind the camera and for sponsoring tonight's show. We love you all. Lorinda, we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Stay sweet. Peace out, everyone.
You guys have a good night.